Hey there, Diana Kübler.
Hi,
Welcome to the Red Couch.
thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So Diana is a senior communications and program manager. It's a handful, a mouthful. But we've known each other for a long time already, and I'm really glad that you're here today. And Diana, maybe you could tell us why you do what you do.
Sure. So I work in communications, and one of the reasons I am where I am is because of my passions with art and theater, actually. So when I was in high school, I designed a theater poster and I was working backstage in the theater. And that poster was put up all over the town on programs, on t-shirts. I think my mom still has the t-shirt with my design. And I just remember the opening night, the show was called Guys and Dolls. And I like kind of peeked out behind the curtain to see if anyone was there. And the whole audience was full. And something just clicked inside of me like, wow, I can create a piece of communications that can trigger somebody to do something, to buy a ticket, to go to a show. So it just, that kind of led me as I started to study at university to choose communications and advertising. And it just, yeah, just comes really naturally to me.
Sounds wonderful. And I'm pretty sure, there was some journey from graduation to where you are today. So maybe you could tell our listeners a bit about that.
Sure. So right after I graduated, I actually went to teach in Honduras. I taught English for 2 years to little children. And then when I got back, I'm from the US originally. When I got back to Chicago, I started working in an advertising agency. So I wanted to use what I had learned. And we actually did Spanish marketing
Uh-huh.
in the US. And yeah, throughout my career there in Chicago, I ended up meeting my husband and then moved to Switzerland, started to work in an ad agency in Zurich. And yeah, just throughout that whole journey, I just kept developing my communication skills. But some part of me also kind of wanted to go back to that education that I was really passionate about, working with children. Decided to have, a family of my own. And then I needed to really find something where I could do my marketing communications, as well as go back to something I'm really passionate about, which is education.
Yeah, and that baby of yours is what now?
Eight,
7?
eight,
8? My
yes, eight.
goodness. Yeah, so that's how time flies. That's how long we know each other
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
And your husband is German, right?
Yes.
So you're in a cross-cultural marriage with a trilingual, bilingual child. How
Yeah,
many languages does she speak?
she's bilingual, I'd say.
But German and Swiss German in my world count as two languages.
Okay, all right. So
She's English, German, Swiss German.
yes, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. And so when your child was small, we met at a job, and you're still in the same role. But this role was also very, let's say, maybe different than what you were used to before. Um, and I love how you just jumped into this sort of startup environment and just led there, and how you made things happen there. um, and maybe you want to share, because a lot of our listeners are also thinking about starting a business, or having a career of their own. But maybe you could start to share
Sure.
your
Yeah,
secrets to success.
I'd love to. Yeah, getting into the entrepreneurial environment and having come from, larger agencies working with bigger clients, just to get into this kind of world where you have to create everything. Nothing happens unless you make
Hmm.
it happen. That's a lot of responsibility. It's really quite overwhelming at the beginning. And one of the first things I did was just really try to focus on time management. Like, how can I divide my time? Because there's so many things that need my attention all at once. So I really needed to work on, how do I prioritize? how do I manage my time? And just to make sure that, everyone I'm working with knows about it and know that I was the only one doing marketing at the beginning. So it was a lot of communicating about, why I'm doing what I'm doing, why is it important, getting other people on board who maybe don't ever think about marketing. So I think through communication, a lot of communication and time management, I was able to somehow structure this role and create something really, really special. And one of my favorite tools is the Eisenhower Matrix. And that's something I still use now.
Me
Like if
too.
I start to get overwhelmed, I pull out my board.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of the Post-it notes, as am I. So, I'll kind of write down all my projects, and more projects come as, I might have one list, but as I'm doing those Post-it notes, more things come. And there's just something really focused, it just makes me really focused if I am able to see it visually. And then it's clear, okay, this is what I have to do next. And I just try to stay focused that way.
So if I summarize, it's like visualize, prioritize,
Communicate.
and communicate. And I think, you sometimes underestimate how creative you are. So you're also like constantly designing and creating something. And one of the things I also admire about you, Diana, is that you always learn. No, there was like nothing was difficult for you. You were like, oh, websites? Oh yeah, let me try to learn that. So that could also be, one of your secrets. Yeah, the
Definitely. Always
continuous
being,
learning.
yes, always being open as well. And I think that's another reason why I am where I am right now, is just being open, saying yes to things. They might be things that are overwhelming, but I think as being an entrepreneur, you say yes, and then you figure out how to do it later.
Oh yeah,
As you go.
that's me. I sell it and then I buy it and then I do it.
You figure it out. Exactly.
Wonderful. Now we both like to be on digital marketing channels and social media. But which is your favorite channel of all?
My favorite at the moment is LinkedIn, I must say.
Hmm.
I really started to get into it during the pandemic. I think because there was a lack of actual networking events to go to, I tried to start to think of, how do I reconnect with people? How do I kind of see people, see what they're doing? And it's really fascinating because, I learn a lot while I'm on it. And then at the same time, I can support what other people are doing. And I started to use it a little bit like my own blog. If I observe something or I want to, just say a little something professionally related, I'll just put it on my LinkedIn, and then people start to comment. And then it's amazing, people I haven't heard from in years will comment, and then we'll get into a discussion. Or people that I haven't even met, they'll share my post and then I connect with them. So it's really cool how my network's grown through LinkedIn. I mean, I still love my Facebook and my Instagram, but I use those more just socially and as
Yeah,
hobbies,
yeah,
not really professionally
yeah,
anymore.
yeah. I personally also think it's amazing how LinkedIn has evolved from like 10, 11 years ago, where I thought it was rather boring, to like a really cool platform. Um, and that what can also help you make things happen if you want to make something happen.
Yeah, and a
And
really cool new feature I just saw that they started to promote is the career break feature. I guess until
mhm,
now you always had to have something, some
mhm,
job, and now
mhm.
they're starting to promote that feature where you can
Yeah,
say, you took a break, and then you can put the things that you learned during that break
yeah,
to, for example,
yeah.
have a family.
Very good, very good.
Mhm.
Progressive,
Yes,
the
exactly.
way to go. And is there anything else that you would like to share with us today?
Sure. So I'm working on a project called the Global Book Fair, and this is something that started, I'd say, at least 5 years ago. At the school where I work, we collect gently used children's books in English, German, or French, and then we sell those at a fair, and we donate that money to Room to Read, which is a great organization that promotes literacy in Asia and Africa.
Hmm.
And we do this, we do the book fair every other year because it's a lot of work. But what we're finding now is that we can kind of do smaller sales along throughout the year. So for example, just on Wednesday, we did a book fair for older children at the tutoring center, Fit for School. And then we did one at our Early Con location called Play School. On Thursday, we did what we call a coffee morning and pop-up bookshop. So parents can come, have a coffee, browse the books, make a donation, and then they go home with new used books for their kids. And we'll plan a bigger one, hopefully next year, for the whole age range of children from birth to 18. And we'll do that at our main location, Children First on Freistrasse.
And when is that again?
So we're planning it for next year. So
Okay.
I'll post the date as soon
Yeah.
as we have it, because we do donation points all over the city. We get Gemeindezentrums involved. So there's, all these different partners we work with to put the word out. So as soon as we have the next one planned, I'll let you know. But we will do these smaller ones continually. The next one will probably be in June.
Oh, wonderful.
In our Early Con location.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Diana. It was wonderful to speak to you.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you again very shortly in person.
Thank you, Angie. Have a great day.
You too.